Imagine a U.S. state so powerful that it is the 8th largest economy in the world among nation-states. It has a $2.4 trillion economy, more than Poland, Hungary, Denmark, and Sweden combined. That state is not California or New York, but Texas. Texas contributes 9% to the US GDP and 22% of the country's exports. Not only that, Texas has made the US among the largest oil producers in the world. It is growing at a faster pace than big and powerful states like California, New York, Illinois. It has a well-established oil industry with many Fortune 500 companies and is gradually transforming into a technological giant. Let's have a look at how a state with desert and vast barren land transformed into a modern state and economic hub for business. At the dawn of the 20th century, Texas was largely an agricultural state. Much of the state was rural, and there were a few urbanized towns. Cotton was the major crop in those days, and the agricultural economy was shaken by environmental conditions. The land was barren, and there were stretches of desert throughout its borders. However, the discovery of oil in Texas in 1901 shaped its destiny. The huge reserves of oil and gas laid the foundation for Texas to become an urbanized and manufacturing economy in the years to come. By the mid-20s, Texas was a major player in the oil and gas sector. Its oil exports transformed its barren land into modern towns. Streets were filled with businesses and the money was flowing in. The modern Texas economy is based on the growth of several industries. The first and foremost is the oil and natural gas production, which are of key economic importance to Texas. For decades, the revenue from oil gave way to new industrial hubs like tourism, petrochemicals, computer and electronics, aerospace and biomedical sciences. The state's coffers were filling in large, and there was a boost in high technological research and development. Another key factor in the development of Texas is its ever-increasing population. Texas's population has been growing at a much faster rate than any other U.S. state. Texas is the second populous U.S. state with 30 million people. The only state having more population than Texas is California. This recent surge in population brings many economic benefits. The migration between states increases the demand for goods and services that promote economic growth. On top of that, this migration paves the way for a housing expansion, boosting construction and real estate sectors. The population increase brings more tax revenues that are crucial for economic growth and infrastructure development. Let's further explore the factors that make Texas such a powerful state. The main reason Texas is different from any other U.S. state is that it is the king of oil production and growth. According to the U.S. Energy Information Department, Texas accounts for 42% of U.S. oil production and 27% of natural gas production. Not only that, it contributes 22% of wind energy generation and around 17% of solar energy production. Despite a setback due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Texas oil production saw a whopping 117% increase. In 2023, Texas produced over 2 billion barrels per year. This huge sum of energy production makes the U.S. among the largest oil producers in the world. In comparison, Texas exceeded 3 of the U.S.'s top oil-producing Louisiana, Alaska, and California states from 2013 to 2023. But that is not just about the figures. For decades, the U.S. was among the top energy importers from the Middle East. However, the discovery of oil in Texas and its fracking made the U.S. self-sufficient in energy production. This self-sufficiency led the U.S. to decrease its net oil imports. The net imports decreased from 60% in 2005 to 3% in 2019. The resurgence in oil and gas production led to a decline in the trade deficit. That is a behind-the-picture analysis of how the U.S. shifted from being one of the largest importers to becoming one of the largest producers in the world. Moreover, what makes Texas energy production unique is that the U.S. relies heavily on its cheap gas and electricity resources. After the war in Ukraine, the Russian energy supplies to Europe were replaced by the U.S.'s surplus production. So Texas proved to be a huge stakeholder in this regard. In 2023, the U.S. surpassed Qatar as the world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas. The U.S. accounted for Europe's 20% of total oil imports. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. joined hands with the European Union to help in its energy crisis. This was all made possible due to Texas's relentless output in the energy sector. Texas not only leads every other U.S. state in oil and gas production, but it also has great potential in renewable energy. It consists of one of the windiest regions in the world, which is ideal for generating wind power. These renewable sources produce 3/10 of the total state electricity produced in 2023. By the end of 2023, The wind-powered electricity generation was around 4,1000 megawatts. Texas has over 150 wind farms and meets 16% of the state's electricity needs. Adding to that, Texas was the second largest producer of solar power after California in 2023. Solar energy accounted for 6% of the state's production in 2023. Renewable sources like wind, solar, and nuclear energy make up 1/3 of Texas energy production. That makes it self-sufficient and enables it to export its vast oil and gas supplies even more. All these factors make Texas a lone star due to its geographical and political significance in the U.S. Texas leads the nation on all fronts due to renewable energy resources and a state-run energy grid. Despite its potential in clean energy, Texas holds vast reserves of coal. According to the American Energy Commission, Texas has around 9 billion tons of coal reserves that make up 4% of the nation's total. It is the second largest lignite producer in the United States after North Dakota. These coal reserves are exclusively used in power generation plants and make up a great portion of the industrial output. Closing in on today's case study, there is another key point that makes Texas the most powerful U.S. state. Texas is the world's 8th largest economy among nation-states. If Texas were a country, its GDP would be more than Australia, Mexico, Spain, Greece, and Finland. It is proudly termed the Lone Star State and the most productive to the U.S. economy. It has the largest civilian workforce of 15 million people, world-class infrastructure, and global access to land, sea, and air. Simply put, it would be fair to say that Texas is the most powerful state in the U.S. Many believe it has greater potential than California's entertainment industry and an art state giant like New York. It has driven the nation towards better economic growth with extraordinary GDP growth, a skilled workforce, and job creation. Moreover, Texas's economic growth ranks first in the nation, and this economic strength is due to many factors. The positive outlook of Texas's economic growth is due to its increased investment in workforce education. Coupled with that, Texas provides subsidies to small and medium enterprises that boost economic growth. Out of the 1,000 public and private companies in the U.S., 100 are in Texas, with big names like Dell, ExxonMobil, Cisco, Oracle, Amazon, HPE, and Tesla. As Texas has one of the most business-friendly policies in the U.S., many foreign technological giants have relocated their headquarters to Texas. Among these are Apple, Google, and Meta, which have relocated their headquarters to Austin due to its favorable geography. On top of that, Texas has achieved another milestone, kicking out New York and California. Texas is now home to more Fortune 500 companies than any other U.S. state. But that's not the only reason. Texas has a low cost of living and less inflation compared to other states. That makes it a top destination for small businesses, entrepreneurs, and families to move here. From our discussion, it is evident that Texas holds geostrategic importance for the U.S. due to its industrial and manufacturing capability. That's why it makes Texas the most industrial U.S. state in the years to come. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think Texas will hold this strategic importance for the U.S. in the future? Let us know in the comments section. For more such videos and hot topics, stay tuned to our next video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.